I'll tell y'all why I want to move out of the United States. Why at the end of next year, I'm going to have my residency somewhere else. I looked at a video today. The Filipinos have a visa for $75,000. You can get a 10-year visa, and then after that, you can get apply for citizenship. And America has allowed lames a place at the table. There was once upon a time, if you didn't work, you didn't eat. There was once upon a time, if you didn't have knowledge of the situation, shut up. You know, there's a woman, this woman here. This woman here. Carol Swain. I used to be a Democrat until I seen her video about when she put the Republicans and the Democrats side by side. You see, I'm not like a lot of you guys that you listen to something, educate yourself, and then you still find a way to like. You're not going to tell me, after telling me that the Democrats started the Ku Klux Klan, there's nothing you can tell me about them. But listen to this. All right, we're out of the car wash. Let me let that video play.
When you think about racial equality and civil rights, which political party comes to mind? The Republicans or the Democrats? Most people would probably say the Democrats, but this answer is correct.
What the fuck did I do? Wow.
Since its founding in 1829, the Democratic Party has fought against Democrats, but the equality and civil rights, which political party comes to mind?
Let me start it over. God.
When you think about racial equality and civil rights, which political party comes to mind? The Republicans or the Democrats? Most people would probably say the Democrats, but this answer is incorrect. Since its founding in 1829, the Democratic Party has fought against every major civil rights initiative and has a long history of discrimination. The Democratic Party defended slavery, started the Civil War, opposed Reconstruction, founded the Ku Klux Klan, imposed segregation, perpetrated lynchings, and fought against the Civil Rights Acts of the 1950s and 1960s. In contrast, the Republican Party was founded in 1854 as an anti-slavery party. Its mission was to stop the spread of slavery into the new Western territories with the aim of abolishing it entirely. This effort, however, was dealt a major blow by the Supreme Court in the 1857 case Dred Scott versus Sandford. The court ruled that slaves aren't citizens, they're property. The 7 justices who voted in favor of slavery, all Democrats. The 2 justices who dissented, both Republicans. The slavery question was, of course, ultimately resolved by a bloody civil war. The commander-in-chief during that war was the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, the man who freed the slaves. 6 days after the Confederate Army surrendered, John Wilkes Booth, a Democrat, assassinated President Lincoln. Lincoln's vice president, a Democrat named Andrew Johnson, assumed the presidency. But Johnson adamantly opposed Lincoln's plan to integrate the newly freed slaves into the South's economic and social order. Johnson and the Democratic Party were unified in their opposition to the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, the 14th Amendment, which gave blacks citizenship, and the 15th Amendment, which gave blacks the vote. All 3 passed only because of universal Republican support. During the era of Reconstruction, federal troops stationed in the South helped secure rights for the newly freed slaves. Hundreds of black men were elected to Southern state legislatures as Republicans, and 22 black Republicans served in the U.S. Congress by 1900. The Democrats did not elect a black man to Congress until 1935. But after Reconstruction ended, when the federal troops went home, Democrats roared back into power in the South. They quickly reestablished white supremacy across the region with measures like black codes, laws that restricted the ability of blacks to own property and run businesses, and they imposed poll taxes and literacy tests used to subvert black citizens' right to vote. And how was all of this enforced? By terror, much of it instigated by the Ku Klux Klan, founded by a Democrat, Nathan Bedford Forrest. As historian Eric Foner, himself a Democrat, notes, in effect, the Klan was a military force serving the interests of the Democratic Party. President Woodrow Wilson, a Democrat, shared many views with the Klan. He resegregated many federal agencies and even screened the first movie ever played at the White House, the racist film, The Birth of a Nation, originally entitled The Klansman. A few decades later, the only serious congressional opposition to the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964 came from Democrats. 80% of Republicans in Congress supported the bill, less than 70% of Democrats did. Democratic senators filibustered the bill for 75 days until Republicans mustered the few extra votes needed to break the logjam. And when all of their efforts to enslave blacks, keep them enslaved, and then keep them from voting had failed, the Democrats came up with a new strategy. If black people are going to vote, they might as well vote for Democrats. As President Lyndon Johnson was purported to have said about the Civil Rights Act, I'll have them voting Democrat for 200 years. So now, the Democratic Party prospers on the votes of the very people it has spent much of its history oppressing.
You dummy!
Democrats falsely claim that the Republican Party is the villain, when in reality, it's the failed policies of the Democratic Party that have kept blacks down. Massive government welfare has decimated the black family. Opposition to school choice has kept them trapped in failing schools. Politically correct policing has left black neighborhoods defenseless against violent crime. So when you think about racial equality and civil rights, which political party should come to mind? I'm Carol Swain, professor of political science and law at Vanderbilt University for Prager University.
This is why I'm moving out of the country. You can tell a dummy that and they'll come up with a new reason. That ain't them now, et cetera, et cetera. The Democrats are the only party in ever to allow other citizens from another country in for free and give them substance, give them subsidize them. Nowhere else has this happened. And you still will get dummies to vote for Democrats. The Democrats are the only ones that allow citizens from another country in here and put citizens of the country out of school and said, nope, we need this for illegals. That has happened nowhere else. You will get lynched if you're in other countries illegally. But your Democrats allowed this. And I get it. They are trying to create a power force amongst the Democrat Party. But what punches me in the fucking head is talking to black people that are absolutely, positively, 100% pure grade A dumb. That's the thing that gets me more than anything. It gets me. It's like you don't know nobody that likes the smell of shit. That's a landslide. You ain't gonna, oh, nah, it kind of smell good. No. It's like when you teach somebody, listen, I voted for President Barack Obama, right? I didn't vote for him the second time. Between Obama's second term is when I heard that video. In the middle of President Barack Obama's second term, I heard that video. I said, I'm not a Democrat no more. And I just got more and more educated on how they move. And guess what? It's how they moved before is appropriate as to how they move now. And the amazing thing is, when you tell black people this, when you tell anybody, when you tell black people this, it is amazing. I'm only glad that woman, Carol Swain, is a black woman. I'm glad that she's a black woman, because I give it to black women that's supposed to be strong. I give it to black women that's supposed to be powerful. Black women that just really, their perspective and narrative in education, and anybody that can tell them something can only be a black woman. When I give it to them, it's just amazing how they say, no, we want to still be a Democrat. And I just can't and don't. And I listen, there are more dumb shit. 92% of the people walking around today is living in a systematic of dumb. They have no interest in wanting to do and be right, because it would have to go against the belief of the masses, and everybody want to be part of the masses. This is why when they had the COVID, you had individuals taking that shit, had no idea why they was taking it. That's why I don't feel sorry for nobody that took it and get sick. I don't feel sorry for them. Listen, let me tell you something. I have polyps. And I think I got them from when I was in basic training. When I was inside the gas chamber, I took my mask off. I wanted to be a super dummy and took my mask off. And just a whiff of it, like just a little, like a mist of it, hit my nose, and it's like a truck hit me. And ever since then, not ever since then, but now I have polyps. So I know that I have a severe sinus infection. Because of that, I take olive oil. I ran out, and yesterday I ordered my new olive oil. You see that? Natural Facts olive oil. I ordered me a new one yesterday. I take high levels of zinc and magnesium, and I eat a diet that is that supports my immune system. To me, I'm not waiting for nothing to knock on my door and then now I'm trying to fight it. All right, but my point in what I'm saying that is, I have a sinus infection. So my truth is knowing the possibilities of these polyps turning cancerous. And then I got a serious problem. So I stay on that. And education helps me stay on top of it. I don't understand how Americans are walking around educated and still will vote a Democrat. It's like, and then this term, this administration, nobody was ever like this administration. They are blatant with it. They are arrogantly dog slaughtering black folks. You know, when you look at DEI and 106,000 black women, they doing us like they did black men. Oh, so you do know. But nonetheless, DEI, if you're telling me that all the money, this is December 21st, if you're telling me that all the money that I made this year was because people felt sorry for me, I'm gonna tell you, you're a fucking liar. If you tell me that all the money that I made this year was because of a tax incentive, somebody just gave me money for a tax incentive, again, I will tell you, you're a fucking liar. But if you tell me that I'll go to a job and it's 13 people that work here and 10 of them are black women, and then you're gonna tell me that once DEI get canceled, all of them get laid off, you don't, that ain't doing it for you, huh? I can't be around this stupidity no more. This is dumb on a scale that should be illegal. It is just unbelievable. It really is. It really is. It really is. I'd rather go into a country that don't have welfare and dig this. If y'all not smart enough, because obviously individuals that follow Democrats aren't, you got to look at this. Look at Colombia. In the 80s, Colombia had Pablo Escobar. In the 80s and into the 90s. And although they still have cartels, it is nothing like it was before. There are Americans moving over there safe and have no issues. I watched Nana. I watch her videos. She's 67. She moved over to Colombia by herself. She moved over to Colombia by herself, right? She don't have no problems. No problems at all. And so there are no signs of the cartels or Pablo Escobar's rule like it was before. All right, I got another one for you. Johannesburg. In 1993, KRS-One made a song called Black Cop. And in that song it says, haven't you heard? It's the black cop just killing black kids in Johannesburg. Yo, what's up, black cop? Yo, what's up? Your authorization says kill your nation. You don't see no signs of it now. Yeah, the destruction and horrible life of South Africa. Yeah. What I'm saying is the country grasped a hold of that because how they looked on the outside of the nation. You see all these individuals with these fucked up countries, even Colombia, they couldn't go to the United Nations and have a place at the table. Motherfucker, there are cartels in your country killing people. What the fuck make you think we're gonna listen to you here at the United Nations? Held to a higher standard, so when they had a place at the table, didn't want to be heard. That's why the civil rights. The American president at the time, Eisenhower, his wife was questioned by one of the vice president of another country. Why do you do that to the colored people in your country? Why do you do that? How it looks from the outside. You blacks got to understand how it looks to everybody else from the outside, but you keep thinking that, oh no, it's within us. Well, I got you. But this is why all these other countries cleared up the chaos and confusion. When you look at all the Democratic held counties, states, turmoil. See, y'all didn't know the Democrats got like $800 million. You got crime is too high in your city bonus. You didn't know that. That's why they wanted to defund the police. Defund the police, more crime. That's why they wanted to do that. Money was involved. Yeah, all of you people voted for Democrats. It's a scam to keep you living under fear, threat, and keeping the crime going on. Was helping them get more money. That's why your boy in Chicago, when Mr. Trump said, I'm going to send our boys over there to clean up the crime and to throw you below the threshold of getting the money, he was like, no, I need to get that money. It is amazing how you can constantly and keep telling individuals about Democrats and motherfuckers just don't get it. But again, that's why I want to leave this country. That's why I want to leave this country. I want to leave this country because America has allowed people to be dumb. We have allowed women to have babies and just, you can have a baby and we'll get welfare and you can just keep doing this. And it's just amazing. And look where we're at now. Although there's a recovery period going on, time has been lost. Time has been lost. A lot has been lost. The damage, a lot, decades of families have been destroyed through welfare. As you heard Miss Carol Swain say. She said it, didn't she? Yeah, you heard her. So like Carol Swain said, we were doing fine without welfare. We were doing just fine. Did you know that wars was won by giving people stuff? Did you know that once you take an animal out of the wild, start feeding it, you destroy his ability to take care and feed and hunt for himself? That's what they've done to black people. They've done it so much that we normalized it. They've done it so much that when they talked about taking these programs away, anarchy, mayhem was threatened. And this is what I can't live around. And here's the deal. Here's the deal. You can look at a booty out nigga. They tell he's a booty out nigga. But to understand and know the mindset of a person that in their brain is saying, I better keep voting for Democrats so I can still get and be attached to these give me programs, is something that is more destructive than an atom bomb itself. Because there's nothing worse more than being around is people that can't pull their own weight. You ever see those boats, those rowing boats, and it be 6 guys and they all rowing? Could you imagine if one of them wasn't pulling his own weight? You don't think that they would know? Of course they would know. They would know. But because that task requires all of those individuals to be able to do such thing, they're all in good company. When you go out in society, are you in the company of a person that says, I'm putting this country first, even though they may not feel it or, they live here? This is why when you get arrested, they say you're a menace to society. You're either for this country or you're not. And I'm not against this country. I'm not the typical person. And honestly, I'm just tired of being around black people talking about slavery. Jews was enslaved. People from Panama was enslaved. Every ethnic, there are other people that were enslaved too. How come black people use it as an intricate part of why they're a failure in America? They use it because there are programs that say when you don't need, we'll help you. So they need that program in their back pocket. That's why. How do you vote for a party that wanted nothing to do with civil rights? Oh, that ain't them now? All right. You ought to be, I only hope that if you vote for Democrats, I just hope you ain't got no kids. We don't need those, your creatures in this world. We don't need you to teach your creatures this dumb perspective and narrative on how you think. We don't need that. We don't need that. Oh gosh. I won't be here. But the citizens that are going to be in this country don't need that. They don't. Thanks for listening.